Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Techano. Great of you to be here. My name is Petra. Welcome. Really appreciate you for taking the time on this Saturday and maybe also other days in the week. Really appreciate it. And how can you support the show? Well, actually, here you have the stats at this moment. It is literally almost there, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Means that I can actually add a community tab right there on YouTube, and that is exactly the reason why I'm so focused on getting that organized, getting to the 1,000 subscribers and also 4,000 watch hours. That is the reason why. But I'm not doing that all by myself. I'm actually doing that, of course, with you as the community, and there are a lot of people live on this Saturday, which is really cool. First and foremost, my dad is in the house. Welcome to my dad. Special welcome, of course. On TV channels, he is also here. Good evening, he said. Really appreciate that. Vil, you're also here. Good, cool of you to be there. What I really like about the community is that you guys are talking to each other and having a cool time. So that is also what MT is doing right there, which is really cool. Vil is doing that the same thing, and that is really what I like about a community, having the way to talk to each other, to help each other out, and that kind of stuff. So that's really the reason why I'm so focused on that. I do also see that Kevin is also here for the first time, all the way from Maryland, US of A. Welcome, Kevin. I really appreciate you for taking the time on your busy Saturday morning. Is that morning? Yes, it is roughly morning, right? No, 1 o'clock, I believe. Something like that. Really appreciate that. The early afternoon, let's call it like that. Really appreciate you for being here. Martin, welcome. How are you? Absolutely fantastic to see you here. All the way from Canada, we have Jimbo 2006. And indeed, here we go. Definitely the case. Let me see. Kevin says, can the QuickPad be used with ATEM Extreme and HyperDeck at the same time? Yes, that is possible, but this is exactly what I want to do with these Q&As, to talk about the functionalities and how that you can do that. I will take this question in a few minutes. I will go back to that, but indeed, definitely that is possible. Though you do need to do some own customizations on that, but that's definitely possible. And I'm saying customization, then when I say that, I realize that it might give you the feeling that's a lot of work, but basically what Scarhoid does is that they have like these modules, they call them cores, and you just add a HyperDeck core, and then once you've added that, you can assign the buttons to a certain area. And then what you do then is that you just add the IP address of the HyperDeck, and boom, you've done it. That's all you need to do. It's literally 10 minutes, 15 minutes work. It's not a lot, but it is definitely possible. And actually, Kevin, it's also what I will do when I'm on location. So that is great. MT says, for sure you deserve more than 1K subs. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I deserve it maybe, but I would actually say that we deserve it. That's what I want to say. Yep, Kevin definitely sneaked in, and that is fantastic that he did that. All right, so please go ahead and also ask some questions during the show. I actually also pre-did some stuff right here. As a matter of fact, you might see this ticker here, and it also gives you some ideas if you're watching after the fact that there are some other things that will be going on and in the future as well. One of them, that thing right there, the web presenter. This is actually running Facebook at the moment, so YouTube is not running via this one, but Facebook is, just to see how things are going, just trying to figure out what I think about it and that kind of stuff. But I'm pretty sure that you will see some cool videos about the Blackmagic web presenter coming your way very, very soon. Hopefully this week already, otherwise the week after for sure. That's definitely the case. So within 2 weeks, there will be 1, maybe 2 videos on that topic. And I will be talking about a little bit more about that later. Mr. Johnny, how to set the view meters which you have behind you on the screen? Well, basically, I just said it. This view meter, what you see behind the scene, is actually directly from the Blackmagic web presenter. And again, I will be talking about the web presenter very, very soon. There will be at least one video, and I'm actually thinking about two videos. The one video will be very in-depth about the web presenter. What can you do with it? What are the use cases? How does it look like on the front? How does it look like at the back? How does this monitor work? That kind of stuff. And then next to that, I actually want to have a separate video, and that's really related again to my own use case, because my use case might not be your use case, and I want to at least divide that. Maybe it gives you a little bit of more an idea. And in that video, I will also compare not only the Blackmagic web presenter, but also with the ATEM Mini Pro. So that, well, basically, that's what I want to do in that video. And the reason for that is, and I'm going to show you, I didn't prepare this, but why not? The reason for that is that Blackmagic, let me go to that display. There we go, and show it to you. Let's remove this part right here. If you go to products, and then you go to streaming and encoding on the right hand side, and you click on that, you'll see literally two products: the Blackmagic Web Presenter HD, and next to that the ATEM Mini Pro. And as you can see, they're both $495 or euros, and that intrigued me. That was an interesting concept, because that made me feel like, wait a sec, I need a streaming engine. Should I take that one or the other one? So I was a bit figuring out what was my setup, and so now we can talk about it at least. All right, so we have some questions, and I think that is good to talk about them. So I'll take my phone and start an NDI session. So in my studio at home, I am using NDI for everything. So this camera, that camera right there, that camera on top, and actually that connection right there is all NDI until it goes to the web presenter. That part is not NDI, that is SDI, and the reason why I do that is that it's very, very flexible, and that is really interesting. At least that's what I think. So I have done some screenshotting, and I will be going into those right now. If the setup does it, yes, it does. Fantastic. So let's start that. Consider the next one. Yep. All right. So first, some reactions that were a bit positive and not really so much questions. So Quick Tech Solution says, very cool. I have the ATEM Mini Extreme, the HyperDeck Mini. I'm in a temporary studio for the next several months, so I'm not too worried about setup and layouts. We'll focus more on that when I get my new permanent space. Just got the HyperDeck. It's a noisy little sucker. I think I'm going to replace the fan, even if it voice warranty. Anyway, love your content. Keep up the good work. Yes, I do agree with you that these, let's say in more generic terms, the Terranex Mini setups, all of them make noise. Also, the web presenter behind me does make noise, and to be honest, the fan of my computer makes more noise than this one, so I'm not that worried about it. Though I can imagine that if you are in a confined space, then that is going to be an issue. Yeah, that's also the reason why, for me, the way that I use the ATEM Mini is not necessarily here in the studio. It's more towards my gigs, when I'm if I'm on a gig for example, a music festival or concert, or I have a a round the table discussion, or maybe a presentation, like we get a presenter and you've got the presentation and maybe some audience. And those are typical the things that I do when I'm on the road. And that's also where the ATEM Mini comes into play, and it's really, really awesome to do that. The ATEM Mini, of course, is very I would say silent, apart from the first 2 seconds when it boots, and then after that it's totally fine. I'm continuing a little bit of the appraisals before I go into the questions, just to let you know that I do see them. And Eric Potter, I hope that I pronounced your name correctly. The setup is dope and great. Thanks for showing. We'll come back to see it in action. Well, talking about seeing it in action, of course, we had the second video where you could see it fully in action, and that is really, really cool. All right. Let's start with the first thing, and I know that you guys will want to see it. So this is basically, there's a little bit of a transparency going on. This is the web presenter right there. So now you can also see it where it is located. It's just right above the monitor that you see in the screen. I think that you like that, so that's the reason why I'm showing that to you. And let's go ahead and go to the first question. I've tried using vMix for overlays, says Kane, but always find that full screen sends me an input on the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO that's very low resolution and pixelated, despite confirming the output in vMix to set to 1080p. How are you running your overlays? That's a fantastic question, Kane. So what I do is, and that's also the reason why I need a separate streaming encoder, is that I run the show via the ATEM Mini Extreme. So that is all the cameras, the hyper deck, maybe even a computer. Then on top of that, I then go to a computer, a computer with either vMix, and if you have paid attention a little bit during the show, I actually didn't use vMix. I actually opted to go to Livestream Studio. More about that later. And that's where I added the graphics on top of it. So yes, within an ATEM Mini, actually all ATEMs, you can add graphics as long as they're stills. And you can also add text as long as you do that up front. Or you need to do that in PowerPoint. Now, I don't want that a lot of extra work. So that is the reason why I've opted to go to a software package, so I can just very easily change the title or the name or the role and just hit enter, and then I can show it. Or alternatively, I can show it and there's also a little bit of an animation going on, which I really, really like. After that, once that is done, I then send it out to via HDMI to the encoder, and that encoder can be a live view solo if I'm out and about on somewhere in a grass field or something. But I can also do that somewhere else. I can also go to another place, another venue, and there I also want to have that encoder, but that can be then either the web presenter or an additional ATEM Mini, like for example the Pro, or the web presenter, so that I can stream from there. And so that is after I added the graphics. I do not loop back, so that is the reason why I'm saying it. So I'm not looping back from the computer to the ATEM Mini. That doesn't work very well. Coming back to my remark about Livestream Studio, I happen to have a perpetual license, so I have a dongle. And what I really like about Livestream Studio is that it actually has a, well, in my opinion, very, very good converter as part of the input. So it converts automatically very well, and therefore you have a very fluid video. And with vMix, that's not always the case, and that is the reason why I went to that route. And to be honest, I don't need a lot of vMix features that I need for this show. I don't need that if I'm doing an on-location work. So I hope that was helpful. I'm moving on for the second question, and then of course I will go into the questions that you guys have live here during the show. hot racks. I see. I am really curious how you're routing all the cables. Where exactly are you plugging in the Stream Deck and the two Skyhoys? Love the channel and how you explain things. Fantastic, hot racks. To be honest, I did show you everything at the very end of the second video. I actually used H2 gear for that. And because that allows me to show you in a very easy way how things look. The only problem is that I cannot share it yet because I have a free plan. I am considering to make it a real plan, but that will be at a later stage for sure. So I'm going to show it to you one more time as part of this video, and I just did it quite very quickly. So here you go. This is the H2R gear, and this is basically the setup. So I have a router, which is PoE, so power over Ethernet. So it actually provides power to the different functionalities. So for example, these two Skyhoy devices get power and Ethernet connection at one time, and so there's only one cable connected. And then we got on this Ethernet 2, we go to the PTZ camera, and the other one is also a PTZ camera. So my PTZ cameras are both PoE, and also the control is via PoE. They are also NDI, so I can actually use them also for NDI. However, for the ATEM Mini, I'm using either a SDI connection or a HDMI connection, depending on the size of the venue. Both of them will work perfectly without any hassle, so that's the reason why I do that. That's all connected into the ATEM Mini Extreme right here. And then I have, of course, a monitor to see my multi-view. And on the other side, we have a USB connection that goes to the vMix or Livestream Studio PC. And from there on, it then goes into the web presenter. And on the web presenter, you have a monitor, which you see behind me in a few seconds. And this one, the web presenter, is actually connected to the output to the internet. And there's nothing else apart from the web presenter that is connected to the internet. So this router is not connected to the internet, the big one. That is not the case, and that's also the reason why I have chosen to do that way. So that is maybe hopefully helpful as part of your question. All right, let's go ahead and see if there are some questions that are live, because of course that is also important. Let me see. Let me make it a little bit smaller so that I can. So I already talked about the VU meters already. Okay, so Martin says, it is the original web presenter you're talking about, right? No, it's web presenter HD, which is the second version that just came out earlier this year. So it's brand new. I think it's just out for like March-ish, April-ish. So it's quite new, and it's definitely a different beast as the previous one. The previous one didn't have a streaming encoder built in, so you did need to use either OBS or vMix or Zoom or Teams or whatever to spread the word, so to speak. But this one right here is actually going live from within the machine. The only thing that I needed to do up front is to add the stream key, which I did, and basically I just pressed the on-air button and it went live. That's as easy as I could make it. So yes, no, it's the second one. And above that, before I forget, the webcam out on this device is 1080 and not 720. So it's also an increase in quality. And above that, before I forget, it also has a scaler built in. So if you are out and about and you don't have a very good connection, an internet connection, or you want to save your data plan for a bit, you can actually go back to 720, even though your production is 1080 or even 4K. That is also possible on this system, and that's not possible on the previous one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. MT says, I think it's a web presenter HD. That's correct. The previous is no longer available on Blackmagic Design. Maybe somewhere in stock as a reseller. Yeah, and it's actually really a different system. It's not The only thing that I really like about the old one, which the new one doesn't have, is separate audio inputs. That would be perfect for me. Now I need to do something else. Now I need to figure out how to do that separately. But that is really great. I have in my setup, I have the ability to have the audio literally via XLR from 3 cameras, the first 3 separately, and I can put it into a mixer, do everything, compression, I don't know, all kinds of beautiful stuff, reverbs, I don't know, and then I can put it back into the SDI cable and then move on. But the last part I could not do yet, and I still cannot do yet, so that's something that I still need to work on. Whatever. Mr. Jenny says, does the Extreme get heated and shut down? I have never had that, and I actually had the Extreme quite long on during a very hot day here. It was about 30 degrees Celsius in the studio back then, and it was turned on for 8 hours, and I didn't see anything happen with it. I didn't even put on the fan, so the only time that I heard the fan really is at the start when it's starting up the Extreme, and it's like, and it's gone. And the other time is that once you are upgrading the firmware, it also does that for a longer period of time. Thinking of that, I have a question to you. Would you like me to produce, let's say, 2-minute Tuesday videos, where I mean with that is that for example, it's on a Tuesday and it's only 2 minutes, and I'm talking about something really small, like for example, how can you do a firm update on your ATEM Mini? How can you set the stream quality, for example, or just really small questions, and then just make the separate videos so that it's easy to find. If you like that, please say 2-minute yes. So 2-MIN yes. And then I know that people are interested in that kind of videos. Reason that I might be able to do that in August, a few of them. So that's the reason why I'm asking. Alrighty. I'm just watching. The original was only 720p indeed, so that is correct, and this one is HD, hence also in the name. Martin says, is the PK1 stand you're using a good solution for holding everything together for taking to advance and such? Can you attach a Raspberry Pi, for example? Yes, you can. You can attach a Raspberry Pi on the bottom of it, but you do need to get a separate holder. Now, Aaron Parecki does have that in his arsenal. I don't know if Aaron Parecki has it, but if you go to his website, that is aaron.pk, then go down and to select the ATEM Mini Extreme, and then you go to the site that actually sells it, and they also sell mounting points for the Raspberry Pi. Is this a great solution for events? It is fragile, so I would say it's not a robust solution, so it's not meant for that. But I am considering a way of transporting it that is sound and it's also good. So we're working on that. And probably it's going to be a very small flight case that I'm thinking of with a lot of padding, so that it's helpful. But I do have to admit that I really like adding that stand for one reason only, is that it makes it really nice to look at. It's really, if people look over your shoulder, they say, hey, you're a professional. It's not lying around with a lot of cables here and there. It's quite nicely organized, and that is the added value, in my opinion. So I hope that that's an answer to your question. Martha says, so you don't have to fiddle with a crazy cable mess on location. That is the added value. Yes, you still have cables. You will never ever get rid of cables. The way that I actually work with SDI cables, I convert that within a flight case to HDMI, and from there on I'm actually putting it into my ATEM Mini Extreme. So they're like very short cables. I don't have one with me here, but I have like these 50 centimeters cables that's like literally this size. So it's really nice to have a look at it, and they're all the same color, the same brand, so it really looks very professional and nice. So yes, that will help. NT-Steuerung, and also it hasn't an HDMI input like the first one. Definitely, I almost forgot about that. That's correct. That is correct. Absolutely. Wait a sec. Jimbo says, for the PK1 stand, can you also buy an attached stand for the Stream Deck? Doesn't have any for PI or HyperDeck. So it does have the Stream Deck indeed, and I can tell you that there is a PI holder for that. For the HyperDeck, you're right. For the HyperDeck, it's not there yet. So that is correct. That's a good question. So on TV channel says, have you stopped using your live view? Replace it with your BMD web presenter or HD? No. So I strongly believe in it. So I strongly believe in having multiple options when you're on location. So the way that I look at it, again, the streaming encoder. If I trust the network, like for example here, I am not going to add a separate streaming encoder unless I want to make sure that the production PC has less of a CPU overload. So, well, here you go. One of the reasons why I'm thinking of adding this product also here, so that I only have to get it off the shelf if I need it on location, is that I want to actually make sure that this computer, which is already 5 years old, has actually less to do. So I can actually make sure that all my NDI traffic, all my production traffic is centrally organized, and only this product right here is really going to the internet. Now, I still have to think about the comments, to be honest, but that's another thing. So for my studio, this is already an interesting product. Next to that, I can also bring this along and go to locations where I know that they have fiber, for example. And so if they have fiber, it doesn't make sense for me to bring along my live view, because that, of course, does cost a data plan. It's just the way it goes. But I definitely still use the live view for two reasons. A, if I need to be in a location where I need to walk around, there's nothing else on my plate than live view. I really have a backpack. I actually have more than one, so that I can actually have a group of people going on the ground and streaming from different locations. It all comes into this studio right here, and here I'm going to create that show. I actually have a live view server right down there that will stitch all the data together, and here I can make the show. So I can have like 3 or 4 different live view signals coming into my production here. And so I'm still using it, but the best tool for the job at hand. That's basically what I'm saying. Kevin, again, new. Thank you very much for coming here. Is your in your setup you can't run the web presenter AC through the PoE router since it's not connected to internet, and to save a power supply. So there's actually one more reason, is that it does not support PoE. So the web presenter does not support PoE, unlike other HyperDeck Mini, for example, as PoE. Also, if you have other converters, they do all do that. However, this one does not support PoE. It does have 12 volts, so you can use it in a camper, for example. But unless that, no. But so yes, you're right. However, it's not a problem because of that. Mr. Johnny says, yeah, when I updated my Mini, also fans got a full sprint. Yep, that's the way it goes. Indeed. I'm continuing a little bit because you guys are here. There are a number of holes where you can be creative and various attachments. Definitely, absolutely. And sounds great, yes, for sure. And that's with reaction to the 2-minute Tuesday, as I call it at the moment. Quick Tech Solutions says, sorry I missed it for the start. So also sorry for that, but you were already at the start with your remark, so you can check that out for yourself at the later stage. But you were already in the video, which is really cool. Oh, wrong one. Hey, it happens. Okay, moving on with some questions that I received. This one, for example. What PTZ camera did you use? That's a good question. I didn't actually say that to you. I am using the PTZ optics 20 times zoom. Let me show it like this. So this is the product right here. And what I like about that is that it actually has, let me try to focus. There you go. So it has power over Ethernet. It actually also contains NDI support, so NDI HX to be more exact. It has HDMI, it has SDI and USB. What is it? 2.0 or 3.0? 2.0. So actually you can connect this camera in all kinds of different ways. So it's really a very good setup for that. So that's hopefully, and I got 2 of these, but I would like to have a third one, because with 3 cameras like this, you can really, you know, have a stellar production, and you can do that all by yourself, and you don't need to have a lot of additional cameramen. That being said, I still like to do that with cameramen because you do have an added production value with that. Then more of a remark and not so much a question. Those Scarroy products, they are very pricey. Arguably, they are not inexpensive. That is true. However, I do think that you're comparing apples with pears, Smith. The reason why I'm saying that is that a Stream Deck always needs a computer to run. So you cannot run a Stream Deck if only on power. It does not work. It doesn't do anything. It does need the application to run on your Windows or Mac computer or your Linux computer. Otherwise, it will not work. Next to that, the Stream Deck is plastic, and the amount of buttons, even though you might think that you have more buttons, it's not really the same, because a Scarroy device actually, and especially if you have the normal setup that they have, each button is actually a mini joystick. So you have the top position, the below position, the right position, and the left position, and the center position at your disposal. So if you have a row of 6, you have actually 6 times 5 buttons already at your disposal, and that is very interesting. So so you do have a lot of functionality there. There are the LEDs, which of course you can do also with the Stream Deck. And what I also like about it is that you can hook up more than one device. Like I said at the start of the show, you can install more than one module or core, as they call it, the Scarroy cores. So for example, you want to have on one device the ATEM, you want to have on the same device PTZ cameras for PTZ optics, for example, and you want on the same device also the HyperDeck. That is possible. You can just have that connection, and you just fill it in. And the only thing that you need to do is make sure that all of those components are switched on, and they have an IP address. And you switch on the Scarroy by just putting the network cable in the PoE network device, and in 10 seconds or so, 10-15 seconds later, you're good to go. And it's always the same. It works always the same, and it's very robust. So yes, it is. Coming back to your remark, yes, they're not cheap, but you're actually really getting a good piece of quality product for that. So yeah, that's the reason. Good. Let me see if I have any questions. Okay, yeah, so a remark that is live at the moment from on TV channels. Surely you can use a V-mount battery for the power supply of the web presenter. I do believe that that's possible, yes. I have not looked at that. I actually don't own a V-mount at the moment, so that is I'm not that professional, it seems, but I know what it is. So you can run the Stream Deck connected to Raspberry Pi for €40 for that. True, but again, you're using software, right? So you're using a software product on a desktop PC. Raspberry Pi is maybe a bit different. I admit that, but still, also again looking at the quality of the product, I think that that's not the same. Sorry, Pat, but I use a Stream Deck. Don't get me wrong. I love my Stream Deck. I use my streaming for this show. I use it also on location for connecting my computer. So it's not that I don't like Stream Deck. It's just that there's a place and time for everything. So that's the reason why I'm saying that. Okay. Oh yeah. So going back to earlier comments, great setup, especially with base mountings and controllers. Yes, definitely. Turning Point Communication says a good setup, but I would like to have more cable. But I would need to have more cable management. You do seem to be limited by space, but so many of us are. Thanks for an interesting video. Yeah. Okay. So that is a good remark. Yes, I was a bit constrained in space. I am definitely constrained in space because of the studio. However, but for this particular demo, I actually had even less space than you might think. So so this is the reason why I prepared this overhand shot. So I only had this at my disposal right here. That was all that I had to build my ultimate extreme ATEM system. Hence, I did have a little bit of a space issue there. However, I think that looking at what you saw right now, that is not that bad, right? So I hope that was helpful. Yeah, and I actually Martin is also here in the show, but let's just for the sake of it, answer this question again. Great setup. How are you using the web presenter within the setup? Wondering that what the unit adds to a really powerful setup. So the only thing that it really adds for me in my use case is that I can either unload my computer so that I don't have to stream from my computer. That's one. And the second, what it will also help me with is that it also will make sure that so that's the only device on the internet. So it's also secure. Now I have to talk a little bit about security on this, because it might not be that important for you, but I work in an IT organization. Not necessarily. I work for a high-tech company, and from there on we have a lot of IT oriented jobs. Because of that, we are always very cautious of the fact of security and authorizations, and especially in security. Now, the thing with ATEM is that you can, for example, connect your SSD drive on the system, and that will then make sure that you can also FTP to that. You can actually grab the video that was ISO recorded via FTP and use it somewhere else for editing purposes, etc., which is fantastic. I love it. However, FTP is not secure. That means that people, if they have connection to your network, to your bubble, they can actually access that file. But also, maybe if you have them, also personal files on that as well. And that is something that you do not want to have, right? So that is one thing. And the second thing is that because of the way that, for example, the ATEM Mini works and the ScarHo devices work and the PTZ cameras work, basically, if you're on that network, you can control everything if you are, want to fool somebody. And I want to avoid that. So that is the reason why it's so important to have a separate web presenter. Martin, live, do you use the Mix Effect app? If yes, how does it compare with the Stream Deck running BitFocus Companion? I would say that the Mix Effect app I would definitely use more often. However, I will use it very specifically for certain features. For example, what I really like about the Mix Effect is that the animations between the super source that you have on the ATEM Mini Extreme. The companion I don't really have, and that has a reason, and that is that I typically only use Windows computers for streaming at the moment, and I didn't have a very good experience with the companion, and it seems that I'm not the only one with Windows computers. So I am on the market for an ATEM. For a Apple computer. So maybe that's going to change in the future, but for now I'm sticking with the Apple ecosystem, so to speak, the iOS version. Kevin says, maybe you could show us how you use the GoXLR in your setup. I actually can. I actually can. And I will. But before I do that, let me check if I actually have all of the... Oh no, I don't have all of the questions done yet. Before I do that, there are two other questions that are very small. Sorry for that, but let's talk about them anyway. This is so small that you cannot really read it, I think. No, but this is on TV channel. He is also here live, and he mentioned that he has a HP Omen, and he wants to add a fifth monitor. So unfortunately, I don't have any knowledge on that apart from like 2 monitors, and that's about it. So I cannot really help you with that. But you also asked in different question about why I bought my HP Omen laptop, and if it's really the best option for vMix. And I can tell you that I actually purchased the 100% exact same laptop that vMix actually used themselves here at IBC in Amsterdam, which is like the NAB, but then in Europe, for their demo system as a laptop. So I was quite sure that was the best laptop for that. So that is hopefully a bit of a reasoning behind why I did it. But yes, definitely if you have a G-Sync laptop, that is always better, because the vMix does use the GeForce card, the video card, for the most. So that is the reason why. Okay. Let me check. So I will talk about GoXLR in a minute. You can go run Companion PI running the Raspberry Pi. Yeah, I will look into the Companion. I will definitely do that. Definitely at the later stage. I did it again. Let me remove that one. That's already done. Give me a few seconds to walk away for a bit, or I'm going to stand. I'm going to tell you why I have to stand. So 2 weeks, no, that's not true. 1 week ago, I got my vaccination, and I had a lot of side effects. So the first few days I had a fever, headaches, and after that I had other problems. And now it seems to be that my problem is that I have pain on my knee. And that is really something that happened because of the vaccination. And the only thing that I can do to make it go away is to stand a little bit. So I'm going to do that right now live, because this is live. And just take some time to do that. Unfortunately, you cannot see me, but it's really something that I need to do, because it's really hurting like hell. So, and that is a bit of a bummer, but it's the way it goes. So I'll just continue this a little bit. I will show you in the meantime my GoXLR. So for the people that have seen it, that is my GoXLR right here. And what I do is that I actually use the following. That is a GoXLR app, which I will show you right now. Let me go there. It gives me also some time to stand up. So here you have the Go XLR app, and as you can see, you can change a lot of different things. Like all the inputs can be done right here. Actually, you have more inputs than faders on the device itself. The device itself only has 4 faders. The first 4. So the first one is the microphone. This is where you hear me. I can actually add a second one for chat. Maybe in the future we want to add a Discord, for example. You can do that right there. But you can also add, for example, what I do is for music. Can I find it? Here you go, music. I can actually add, for example, some music that I'm playing from a Chrome browser or somewhere else, and then mix it live, which is really great. But I can also, and then here you can see that I have the system audio fully on, so fully opened. So if I want to run something like, for example, a YouTube video or something, it can also go in via the system. What I really like about the Go XLR is that it also has the ability to perform some routing, which is right here. And this allows me to state what you can hear or what I can hear. So for example, if I don't want to hear myself, but I want to hear other stuff, I can just remove this one from my microphone, and then I will not hear myself anymore, like so, but you will still hear me like there. So I actually will not hear myself on the microphone, on my headphone, but you will still hear me. So that is what I like about the Go XLR. And I actually have the bigger set, so I can actually also add some additional audio effects. Like I can also, if I want to mute myself a little bit, I can do that like so then you cannot hear me, right, like that. Or if I want to curse, that is also possible. I can just say something like cursing, like, and that is the way that it works. So thank you so much for that. Give me some time to spread my legs again. I'm back. Okay, so that's how fast it can be. Okay. All right, I'm feeling way better than a few minutes ago. Let me check. Oh, it's a really nice unit, MT says. 400 euros at Thomann, available for 6 to 8 weeks. It is definitely one of my favorite. Although MT, I honestly would recommend to purchase the Mini, the Go XLR Mini. Because I typically do not use all of the effects anymore. It was a gimmick. I loved it when I used it, but it's not really that professional, and I'm not really doing it that much. I can imagine that sometimes you want to do that if you want to express yourself a little bit more. For example, you want to you want to say something, like you want to give an additional echo or something. But I don't see me doing that much. What I do like about the Go XLR, the big one, is that the faders are motorized. So I can actually, in one go, I see exactly what the status is. And that is not on the Go XLR Mini. The Go XLR Mini is actually way cheaper than that. Cool. Let me just check. What's up, PH? Yay, I did already show you the comment that you already made. Welcome from the Philippines. Really cool. Almost 2 a.m. Wow, that's a diehard. I am so impressed by that. Thank you so much for staying up that late. I really appreciate that. Let me see if I have other things that I wanted to talk to you about. I think that I'm almost dried out. I think that I have everything. Oh yeah, there's one more thing that I wanted to tell you. I promised you guys that I would give a tour of my studio, and I would like to do that. However, I want to wait a little bit longer, because at the moment I'm actually, oh, it's not updating. I see. Oh, that's a bummer. Let me start the NDI again. So I wanted to show you my studio as a thank you for reaching 750 subscribers, and of course we're already at 820, which is really cool. However, that did mean that I actually don't want to do that now, due to the fact that right behind this is what it looks like. So you see that I have my AC unit right there, and it doesn't look really great. So what I typically do is that between, let's say, May, June, July, August, those 4 months, because of the heat here, I need to have an AC unit occasionally, and this is the only way to make that happen. Hence, that is the reason why it's there. However, I will as soon as it's gone and I can put back my table there, I can show it to you, and you're gonna love it. I'm sure of that. 160. Oh, you mean the price of the Go XLR Mini? Yes, Phil, that's exactly the 160, and I think that is a better choice. And that's actually the one that I also use for my mobile setup, and it's actually really good. And you can just hook it up to your laptop. It doesn't have to have additional power. The Go XLR, the big one, does need separate power. It does not power up via USB. And it's available. There you go. Boom. Well, I think that we just sold the Go XLR Mini, which is cool. I loved it. I like both of them, but I think that I don't see a reason to buy the bigger one. Looks like a spaceship. Yeah, I know, right? It's so stupid, but that's the way it is. It is stupid, but I can tell you, last year's was even worse. But this year I'm like, I don't want to make it too much, but this is really something that I needed to do, so I did it, and it's really helpful. So that is that. Oh, nice. Martin just says that he got his ATEM Extreme ISO delivered today. Great job. Great. Well, tell me what you think. Make a comment, and if you have any questions, if you have anything that you want me to talk about, if it's about the ATEM Mini Extreme, if it's about the web presenter right there, if it's about the Go XLR, I can actually go a little bit more in depth in the Go XLR. ATEM Mini Pro, of course, I can talk about that as well. The PTZ cameras, maybe. I can talk about a lot of different things. So let me know what you want me to do. And again, sorry for standing up part just now. I really needed to do that. It was the first time today, which is really great. So it's actually getting worse, so that's a good thing. What's up? Says mixing output combo of ATEM Extreme and vMix videos, graphics, which is better, stream via vMix from ATEM mixing or streaming via ATEM combination? Let me see if I have everything. Or streaming combination video and graphics from vMix. Okay, so what's up? So this is a multi-layered question, so I'll try to be as thorough as I can. So you can, if you own an ATEM Mini Pro ISO, Extreme ISO, so not the original ATEM Mini, then you can stream directly from that device. And if you don't need any graphics that you want to change right there and right then, or you don't want to play a lot of videos and you don't own a hyperdeck or a computer that you can use for playouts of your videos, then that will be enough. Then you can just do it like that. If you want to stream from vMix or something, what I would not want you to do is go from the ATEM Mini Pro. So let me just get one. We've got here I have the ATEM Mini Pro. Let me remove we've got the ATEM Mini Pro. From the USB out, for example, I go into a vMix production. Or alternatively, what is also possible is that I go via the HDMI out to a vMix production, but then I lose my multi-view. So that's a bit of a bummer. But if you want to do that, that's fine. However, you do need to have a capture card. And my advice would be at the moment to go with the Elgato, what's it called? The HS60 Plus or something. Let me check. That would be the best. There's also the camera stick. The camera stick. That's the way that I'm calling it now. It has a different name. It's okay, but I think that if you want to have something that's really stable and great, I would advise the. I'll show you the capture. I can show it to you. Give me a few seconds. There you go. By the way, Elgato really made a very cool setup this last week, and I'm definitely gonna. I'm interested in something from them, but I'll talk about that at a later stage. Let's go to capture. Yes, the HD60 S Plus. The Plus is important. That is a very good capture card for your laptop. Extremely good. Extremely good. You also have the other one, the camera one, which I don't find at the moment. The Camlink. I have mixed results with that one. I actually don't want to recommend it that much, but this one, the HD60 S Plus, definitely a very good capture card to get from your ATEM Mini to vMix, and then via an HDMI and not via the USB. From there on, you can just go live via your vMix PC. That's okay. That's also brilliant. That's good. However, it depends on what kind of laptop do you use. If you use, for example, an i5 processor, it does work, though not that great. You will see it be sluggish or really hurting. So what I then would typically say, I would say to add a additional streaming engine after your computer, like for example the Web Presenter, or again an ATEM Mini Pro. Both of them will work quite nice for that. So that is something that I would recommend. I would not recommend to go with a loop back from vMix to your, for example, HDMI 4. That will not work that great. It is possible, but I don't see it working very great. So I would not recommend that. Oh yeah, and the reason why I'm not recommending that is because the quality can be less than you might expect, and it has everything to do with that there's a loop back in your signal, which is not a great way of doing that. Yeah, so indeed, like MT says, Martin, that's great. You will have a lot of fun playing around, and try out the Supersource. It's really great. It's really stellar. WhatsApp says, I'm an extreme ISO user and love using the Supersource. Yes, it is definitely. It's like the killer feature in my opinion. So that's definitely the case. Martin is very excited. I hope so. That's great. You're gonna love it. Martin says, elaborate on the Go XLR and how you use it along with the ATEM in your setup, please. I'm just hearing about it now, and it's the first time, and wondering what it can do. Thanks. So the Go XLR and the ATEM, no, that's not a good. That will not work. Well, it can work via your iPhone, but I would recommend not to do that. I'm actually really using it to bring in the audio via vMix in this case, and not the ATEM Mini. So I'm really using the ATEM Mini to bring in multiple cameras into a laptop, and from there on I just bring it to the outside world. So that is the reason why I'm using that. For the ATEM, there are two things that you can do. Always the best is to add audio to your camera immediately. That's always the best feature that you can do, the best functionality that you can have, because you don't have the problems with delays in your audio. If you don't have that and you want to, for example, use lavaliers or something, lavaliers are these small microphones that you can clip on your t-shirt or blouse or whatever, and that can be, for example, also something that you can connect to the the mini jacks that you have on the ATEM Mini right there. So you have two microphones right there that and you also have that on the Extreme. So this is like the stand-in of the Extreme at the moment, but the Extreme does have that itself as well. Blah, 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 blah. So the Go XLR is really something that I will connect to my laptop, not to the ATEM. And this says to avoid the lack of multi-view on your ATEM Mini, I got myself a C-Tech ATEM 156 and 4 HDMI in and outs. Yeah, that's another option that you have. So that monitor is a monitor that is I would say specifically made for the ATEM Mini, because you can actually have a multi-view on it, and you indeed have a HDMI in and HDMI out for every of the 4 channels, and you can really either have a multi-view with those 4 channels, or alternatively you can actually select only one of them to really dial in that picture, which is really a really nice monitor in my opinion. So yeah, that's for old ATEM Mini, but also the ATEM Mini Pro. If you really need to use that HDMI out, and that's definitely a possibility. Above that, that monitor also includes a headphone jack, which is only available on the Extreme models. So the ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO don't have a headphone jack. The Extreme and Extreme ISO do have a headphone jack. So it's better to aux out from Extreme to Elgato capture card to vMix than use the USB-C webcam out to... Ooh, that's a good question. Let me get to the full question. So the capture card, then the USB webcam out of the Extreme to vMix video quality wise. Yes. Not necessarily the quality of the picture. The resolution is the same. The frame rate is the same. But your color science is different. So you see, if you have on the USB-C side of things, you get more saturation, where if you would get it out of the HDMI, you will get a bit of a normal setup. Honestly, I use the USB-C connection because for me that's good enough for what I do. Although I have to admit that if I come in a position where I have to work with a lot of darks, so dark tones, I will definitely go that route. So via the HDMI capture card route, that is definitely better at that time. But typically I just use the USB-C, but I do need a lot of light for that. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I think that I'm ready. I've discussed everything that I wanted to discuss today. Yeah. Well, in that case, I just wanted to point out again that I will be creating a video on this cool web presenter that you see behind me. It has been performing quite well, it seems. So I can actually, if I go like that, you can actually see it. So you can see the buffer, etc. Looks very promising, very good. So I'm very happy with that, and I of course will be talking about all the use cases that will be already discussed also during this stream. I hope that it will be done this coming week. If not, then definitely the week after. And yeah, let's have some fun. I hope that you liked it. If you have any questions, with regard to this video, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any ideas on future videos, let me know. Again, please subscribe to the channel to get notified for future content. Again, one of the reasons that I want to subscribe is that it will enable me to get that community tab in YouTube, so that I can also provide you additional notifications during the week. I can actually give you maybe some polls so that you can influence what I'm going to talk about. And of course, I will also start to think about how I can maybe bring additional value by providing, for example, Zoom calls or something. So I hope that you like that. Yes, Kevin, thanks for taking the questions. Anytime, Kevin. Really appreciate you for being here. If you have any questions also on previous videos, go watch them and come back to them. I think that I will see almost all of the questions, so I will try to answer them either directly in line on YouTube itself, or alternatively in one of the Q&As. Typically we have like 2 Q&As per month or so, so definitely it's gonna come back. Yep. Oh, but got to go, Petra. Thanks for a great show, and always the best to John from On TV channel. Thank you. Yes, I'm also wrapping up indeed. And at events, when doing something like conferences, if they want clean camera video displays on the big screen, how would you do about that? Martin, that's a good idea for a later video. Actually, I know exactly how I want to do that. However, I think that this is a separate video altogether. Maybe we can have a live show to discuss that at a later stage. What do you think about that? I think that would be very funny to do that. Thanks for the content. No problem. I hope that it was something that you liked. And now get some sleep. That's already past 2 o'clock. Great show as well, says MT. Great, and stay safe. Yeah, thanks for everybody for being here. Watch out for that video of the web presenter, and we'll see you next week, same time, same channel, and I hope to see you in a healthy state. Thanks so much. Bye bye.